Hi guys, it's Charles here with Charles Harrison Music. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking you through a technique I use to teach voice leading. Voice leading is the technique of trying to find the smoothest motion to get from one chord to the next. If you think about singing, it's very easy to hold a note, la. A very difficult thing to do is jump around really accurately, la ha 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 ha, like that. So a singer likes to hold a note, a singer hates to jump around. So if we're writing for a choir, then we want to have as many what we call common tones as possible. Now, you may not be writing for a choir, you might be writing for a brass band, you might be writing for horns, you might be writing for strings, doesn't matter, a string quartet. As long as you have high, low, and low, low voices, what we call soprano, alto, tenor and basses, then you're going to find that these techniques are very useful. Now you can also apply these to your solo instrument playing, so you might be a piano player, and this is an amazing way to create, almost by accident, come up with new voicings. Same with guitarists. I use this technique when my standards are just sounding a bit stale. I'll pick a slightly weird sounding chord to start with and voice lead from there and see where it takes me, and 9 times out of 10 I'll stumble across some voicings that I would have never thought of myself and I've certainly never used before. The final point is if you are studying at least A-Level in the UK, I'm not sure about American qualifications, but at A-Level certain boards do require you to understand voice leading. Certainly if you're doing grade 8 theory and any other academic music pursuits, you're going to have a strong understanding of voice leading. And in an academic situation, I've never seen any examples that require any more knowledge than what I'm going to show you today. So this should help you if you are worrying about your voice leading for an exam. Let's get on with it. I've written down 4 chords. We've got C major 7, F major 7, G7 and A minor 7. What we're going to do is we're going to split our page into 2 columns, and on the left hand side we've got the column called Ingredients, and the right hand side we've got a column called Inversion. So here, Ingredients and Inversion. So Ingredients, we're simply just going to write down what the 4 notes that comprise of that chord, and of course if it was a 5-note chord you write the 5 notes out. So I've written out the ingredients for each chord here, and the first step, or the first job we've got to do is work out, and just by looking, which notes are the same in next door chords. So if I look at this first list here, I've got C, E, G and B. On my next list I've got F, A, C and E. So I notice straight away that I've got C and E in common between these 2 chords. So I'm going to do a solid line from C to C and E to E. There's no other notes in common, so I'm going to move on to the next 2 chords just for now. I've got F, A, C, E, which is our face chord here. Then G, B, D, F. Well, I notice again that I've got an F in common between these 2 chords. And as far as I can see, there's nothing else in common, so I'm going to move on. Finally, G, B, D and F, A, C, E and G. Well, again, I can only see 1 note in common there. That's G to G. So a bold line takes me from G to G. Next up, we're going to just look at the remaining ingredients of each chord and ask ourselves which one they are closer to alphabetically. Always check all the remaining options first. Here's a good example of that, because G goes perfectly to F. So you might be tempted just to straight away draw a dotted line and say, oh, G's F. But G also goes perfectly to A. So we can't commit yet. So we're going to look at B as well. B is right next door to A, but it's miles away from F. So B has to go to A. So I draw a dotted line to tell me that this is a movement. The solid lines are fixed notes and the dashed lines are movements. And F must then go to G, so that's a dashed line as well. Okay, next 2. F, A, C, E. We've got A, C and E spare. So where does A go? Well, A can go to G or B. Down a step takes you to G, up a step goes to B, so we don't know yet. C can go up to D and it can go down to B. So again, we don't know yet. E can go to D, but to B and G is a 4th and a 3rd, depending on which direction you're going. So E has to go to D. That's the closest option for E. C can only have B or G now. Well, B's closest. I'm just using the alphabet here, guys. B is the closest letter to C in the alphabet. A to G. Again, in the musical alphabet, that is the closest letter now that B has been taken out of the equation. G, B, D and F. We've got B, D and F left because G's been taken. B. Can B go to A? Yes. Can it go to C? Yes. Okay, so we don't know where it goes yet. D can go to C or E. F, however, can go to either G or E, but G's already been taken. So F has to go to E because they are alphabetically next door. D can only go to C now because A is a bit of a trek away for it. And finally, A goes to B. So this probably looks like a bit of a, I don't know, a sort of Times crossword puzzle or something like that. It all looks very strange. We're about to decipher this now. For your first chord, choose which inversion you want to start on, i.e. which order you want those notes to exist in. But I'm going to be really boring for today, and we're just going to start in the exact same order that I wrote them out. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to follow my line. C is going to go to C. It's going to then go to B, and it's going to go to A. And I'm going to draw those vertically on this side. So C goes to C, so C goes to C. C goes to B, C goes to B, B goes to A, B goes to A. And I have one vertical column, that's my bass line. La, 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 la. That's a lot easier than la, 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 la that I had before. La, 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 la. Okay, next up is E. Let's follow that line. It's going to go E, E, D, C. E, E, D, C. E, E, D, C. A lot easier than E, A, B, C. Now, of course, I'm not trying to say that this is difficult, but in terms of voice leading, this is a smoother motion. E, E, D, C. Next up is G. So G goes G, dotted line to F, G, F, straight line to F, dotted line to E. G, F, F, E. G, F, F, E. Really easy. As opposed to G, C, D, E. And finally we've got here B. Now B is going to go B, dotted line to A, to G, to G. B, A, G, G. B, A, G, G. And that's our voice leading done. Now this is going to sound really smooth. Now I'm going to finish this video by going to the piano and let's hear how these sound. So this was how the chord progression started. Say that again. So it's fine, it's correct. That's the right chord progression. C major 7, F major 7, G7, A minor 7. But it's a bit clunky. Everything's moving big movements at a time. It's also, everything's moving in the same direction. It's not particularly interesting. And this is what we've ended up with our voice leading. So we've now got movement within the voices and we've got common tones between them. One after another I'm going to play it before and after. Let's hear it. If you enjoyed that video and found it useful, please do click that like button, share this with anyone who you think might benefit from it, and please do click that subscribe button as well because that really helps me out. Let me know if you've got any questions in the comments down below. I think this is a topic that I'm going to do a few videos about because this was of course just a primer, really quick explanation, but I want to show you some really weird jazzy examples that we can use to get some really outside sound. So stick with me on this course and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care now, bye.